Let us take a common belief and flip it on its head. What's up, guys? I love Pencil here, and here we are to do a breakdown / discussion on why Ryomen Sukuna carried the 10 Shadows. Not that the 10 Shadows carried Ryomen Sukuna. Now, I know, this is a topic that's been hotly contested. Honestly, ever since Sukuna took over Megami's body. Like, when you go way back in time, before Gojo vs. Sukuna even happened, this was something that the Gojo fans were ready for at the time. We were ready and prepared to start slandering the King of Curses for taking over Megami's body to use the 10 Shadows against Satoru Gojo. So obviously we've been ready and waiting for it. But personally, nearly a year after the fight's conclusion, I have found myself flipping a coin. And that coin has landed on a very interesting side. So let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Editing me, are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Ryomen Sukuna is commonly believed to have been backpacked by the 10 Shadows, to the point where a large majority, like a large majority of the fandom still believes that in spite of Satoru Gojo's statement in 236, despite Ryomen Sukuna's own statement in 236, despite a majority of the battle showing otherwise, that Ryomen Sukuna was backpacked, carried, babied by Big Raga. And admittedly, I still remember when this fight was coming out, and when Raga first came out and really started showing his daddyhood. I really do remember all the memes, all the drawing, everything. It was so hilarious. Like, even as a guy who's had Sukuna grow on him exponentially. Like, Sukuna went from a character who I never got the hype behind to a character who I greatly appreciate. That's just all thanks to this Shinjuku Showdown. Even I'll admit now, those are still hilarious to me. Like the Daddy Raga and Mommy Ahito memes and like holding baby Mega. It's like, it's still so hilarious though. Like I saw images, especially like after 235 came out. Like Raga being vaporized, like Sukuna crying over like the remains of the... I'm sorry, it was hilarious. But naturally, my thoughts have changed. Personally, I don't think Sukuna was carried by the 10 Shadows, where I would have once said the otherwise in the past. Mainly because if you look at the battle comprehensively, the 10 Shadows, for one, aren't actually that big a part of it, at least for a majority of it. And two, the 10 Shadows wouldn't have been able to do anything without Big Kuna. It's like the 10 Shadows, most of the time, aren't really able to do anything without Big Raga. If you're wondering if my perspective of the 10 Shadows has changed all too much from my video from what feels like forever ago now, way back when I called the 10 Shadows a bad technique, no. My thoughts and beliefs about the technique in of itself haven't really changed all too much. And in fact, I think due to my switch in perspective on this topic itself, I've even gotten more down on the technique, but let's talk about why. So let's just do a simple calculus first of how much the 10 Shadows were being used actively against Satoru Gojo. Let's just count. So the chapters that contain the battle between Gojo and Sukuna start all the way back in 223, and then they go all the way up to 236. That's 13 chapters of straight 14. You gotta include 223, not just the difference between 236 and 223. So 14 chapters. And even then, a lot of these chapters isn't really much battling. But 224 features absolutely no 10 Shadows. Do you see Big Raga coming out and tanking this 200% max output Hollow Purple for Sukuna? Oh, you don't? That's right, because he doesn't. Sukuna just has to face tank that after he was caught off guard by it. Alright, so that's the first chapter. So one chapter out of 14 down, no Raga, no 10 Shadows, no nothing. The only thing is Megami's body. So maybe you want to count that, but obviously no, you wouldn't, because Megami's body isn't the 10 Shadows technique, it just contains it. Okay, so chapter 224. Let's see how much the 10 Shadows helped out Ryomen Sukuna in this initial encounter with Satoru Gojo. Oh, it didn't. Like at all? Oh, that's crazy. They just have a whole little yap sesh. They spar a little bit. Is this Raga? Is this Raga right here? Sparring and battling with Satoru Gojo? Oh, no. Is this Ahito right here? Boxing and sparring with Satoru Gojo? Oh, no. This is Sukuna sparring and boxing with Satoru Gojo. And then getting thrown around and boxing and sparring with Satoru Gojo. And then running away and getting thrown around by Satoru Gojo. Once again, no 10 Shadows. Okay. But, that's 2 of 14. So for 1/7 of a battle, Sukuna isn't being carried by the 10 Shadows. Sure, but there's still 12 more chapters. So obviously, the 10 Shadows has to come in and backpack like crazy soon, right? For this narrative to even exist, right? Okay, so let's hop into 225. Oh, this is This is Shrine. Ooh, the malevolent one. I wonder. College workers, fellas. Is that the 10 Shadows technique? I don't think so. Okay, so there we go. Another case where 225, an entire chapter determined by not the 10 Shadows, but that's only 3 chapters, right? You may be like, Pencil Man, that's 3 chapters. 3 chapters that's not the 10 Shadows. Hop into chapter 226, Pencil Man. Alright, so right now we're 3 for 14, no 10 Shadows. No backpacking, no Daddy Raga, no Mommy Ahito, no Divine Daddy Dogs, none of that. So let's keep it pushing, let's keep it moving. Let's see, maybe in chapter 226, 4 chapters into the battle, we're going to see some 10 Shadows backpack. Oh, is that big Raga cutting Gojo to pieces? Oh, no. That's Malevolent Shrine. Let me see. Is that big Kuna chasing down Satoru Gojo, or is that Big Daddy Raga? I don't know, y'all. Low key. That kind of look like Big Kuna. That don't look like no Big Raga or nothing. That look like Mommy Aito or nothing. That look like the Daddy Dogs or nothing. That look like the Gray Snake or nothing. That's Big Kuna. Big Kuna's chasing down Satoru Gojo, holding down Satoru Gojo, dodging Satoru Gojo. That's a lot of Big Kuna. But I'm not really seeing no 10 Shadows. Not in 226 either. But whatever. We ain't even halfway through. I can hear y'all now. We ain't even halfway through, Pencil Man. We 4 chapters deep. 4 chapters deep. Let's get 5 chapters in. Let's see how much of the 10 Shadows really backpacking Big Kuna. This 14 chapter long battle. Obviously, the 10 Shadows got to kick in here, right? 5 chapters deep. We're 4 for 14 of no 10 Shadows carrying, but maybe here, maybe 227 is where we're gonna see the 10 Shadows come in and start really putting Sukuna on the back. Yeah, oh wait, no, in fact, Sukuna's still using the same Malevolent Shrine he opened last time against Satoru Gojo, who opened a new domain, and is now using domain amplification to amplify within a domain and break through Satoru Gojo's defenses. That doesn't look like backpacking. Is this Big Raga or Mommy Ahito carrying and dodging Gojo's punches and getting hit? No. That's Big Kuna. Oh, that's rough. That's Big Kuna too. Ooh, and who shatters the domain in the end? It's Big Kuna with Malevolent Shrine. His own technique? Oh, 227. So now we're 5 chapters deep. We're not halfway there yet, though. Yeah, and look. Satoru Gojo even opens up a small ball domain. A small domain, that means has to. This is it. I remember some 10 Shadows thing broke a domain, so this has to be the domain. We're almost halfway through the fight. The 10 Shadows going to start carrying sometime soon. So maybe here in 228, they'll start carrying. But, oh, wait. It doesn't look like they do, because we spend the back half of the chapter explaining small ball. Then we see small ball in action, and look! That's not... Oh, wait a minute. That's not Big Raga. That's not Big Raga either. I don't see Ahito anywhere. I don't see any of the 10 Shadows anywhere. Oh, that's Sukuna. Yeah, just Sukuna. Standing there. 228. 6 chapters deep. Still no 10 Shadows. But wait a minute. I saw something. At the end of this chapter. Wait a minute. That's not it. That's all Big Kuna fighting Satoru Gojo and confusing Satoru Gojo on why he isn't using the 10 Shadows, at least not obviously. Oh. There it is. There's the 10 Shadows. There's Maharaga. Maharaga clinked, and that means the wheel spun, and that means Gojo started to nosebleed. Oh, wait, no. We know that's not the case. We know for a fact that's not the case. The wheel spin was entirely independent of the nosebleed that Satoru Gojo underwent. So we're 228. We are now 1. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm counting right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 chapters deep. 6 chapters deep. There he is. Look at him. He just looks big, jacked, juicy, beefy, scrumdiddlyumptious. Here we go. 7 chapters deep into this 14 chapter battle. Big Raga finally appears. So it took 7 chapters for the 10 Shadows technique to appear prevalently. And admittedly, yes, save Ryomen Sukuna. There we go. And obviously, I know what y'all are saying, especially as I went through the previous 6 chapters and showed how 10 Shadows technique was not involved at all. You're going to be saying, well, Pencil Man, The 10 Shadows technique was active from before the battle even started. It was hidden in the shadow, stored above Megami's soul. Of course, naturally, indubitably, this would still have to count as 10 Shadows usage. In fact, it would count as Sukuna carrying the 10 Shadows. Of course, it would have to be. Or would it? Because as we see in chapter 230, 8 chapters into the battle, we see something interesting, an interesting phenomena. So, Raga comes out, stabs Unlimited Void, saves Sukuna one time. But you may be remembering something. You may be wondering something. Wait a minute. How does Raga adapt to things? Oh, he needs to experience certain things and survive them in order to handle the phenomena. So, how did Raga experience Unlimited Void if clearly Raga was never out during Unlimited Void? Oh, well, Sukuna explains it to us. The idea was using Megami's soul as the conduit for the experience in order for Maharaga to adapt. Huh. But who had to sit there and expose themselves to the danger of Unlimited Void and their domain shattering in order for Big Raga to get the experience of Unlimited Void safely? Who was that? Who allowed Maharaga to adapt? Because it's known, in fact, by Satoru Goto's own shocked reaction at the end of 229, it's known that he shouldn't have been adapted to Unlimited Void already. I wonder what that could mean. Would it mean that Ryomen Sukuna had to put Maharaga on his back and then proceed to riskily avoid and offer himself to Unlimited Void in order for Maharaga to become a trump card capable of taking it? Crazy. So for the 6 chapters of the battle up to that point, Sukuna's carrying the 10 Shadows, making sure Raga's kept in a safe enough position, hidden in the Shadow Realm, to make sure he doesn't take too much damage from the big, scary, strongest sorcerer of today. Oh no, he's literally one-shot, as Satoru Gojo himself believes. Maharaga, at this time, I'll have to destroy it with one attack before he can adapt to Unlimited Void. Curse technique reversal. He's legit one-shot. Gojo even believed this earlier on in the battle. Is that a carry? For all my video game players out there, your carry, especially if you play something like Pokemon or anything that has like any sort of lead player, is your carry one shot? Is your carry fragile? Does your carry need to be backpacked by other people in order to make sure that they can do their job? Personally, not necessarily. Usually the carry is backpacking. Just like Sukuna backpacked for Big Raga. And look what happens. Big Raga pops out, flexes, shows off his illustrious, amazing gains, and then immediately goes back into the Shadow Realm. Why? Because he's still technically one-tapped, because he hasn't adapted to anything other than Unlimited Void through Megami experiencing the burden of adaptation. So Sukuna, knowing how fragile Daddy Raga is until he's adapted, decides to keep him away. Put him in the Shadow Realm, where he's safe. Where the big, scary, strongest sorcerer man can't get to him and give him red, malicious, crimson backshots. Or blue backshots. Heaven forbid, purple backshots. Once again, Maharaga's one-tap this entire time. That's why he goes back in the shadow and disappears for a majority of this chapter. Only to be summoned out, above Sukuna's head. Yeah, in order to adapt to infinity. But who's going to be the one doing the work of adaptation? Oh, it's not Big Raga because he couldn't. It's Big Kuna. Big Kuna slid the 10 shadows on his back and said, "Don't worry, Pops. I'll show you the way." And then proceeded to be forced to show him the way because he couldn't open his domain expansion. Why? Because Sukuna decided to expose himself to extra danger of Unlimited Void for Big Raga's sake. Looking quite devious, isn't it? This is quite a beard-stroking activity that we now have to undertake. So, Sukuna only exposed himself to Unlimited Void, which allowed him to get hit and expose himself to damage for Big Raga. And then, he summons Big Raga above his head. In order to do what? In order to tank for Big Raga. In order to carry Big Raga on his back again. And then what happens for all of 231? Oh, would you look at that? It's Sukuna putting the 10 shadows on his head and doing what? Taking a beating. From every single application of the Limitless that Gojo was willing to throw at him. From blue to, admittedly not red, not yet, not in this chapter, to the after images, everything. This is all Big Kuna. Even Big Kuna turns off the 10 shadows in order to catch Satoru Goto's punches and throw them around and have a good little time with them. To keep that wheel on spinning. Why? Because Daddy Raga is scared of the big, scary, strong, limitless sorcerer, man. Oh no. What if Big Raga were to be summoned out too soon? What if Ahito were to be summoned out too soon? What if any of the 10 shadows were to be summoned out too soon? Against a Satoru Gojo with weakened output, by the way. With brain damage, by the way. Sukuna knows that the 10 shadows, and by proxy Big Raga, is so fragile that if he were to expose it to this weakened, brain damaged Gojo while he's still there, it wouldn't be safe. So he needs to stay there and adapt for Big Raga. So Raga has done one move so far. The 10 shadows has done one move so far to save Sukuna from a scenario he would never have been in if he wasn't adapting for Big Raga in the first place. And then 231 ends, and we get to 232. There he is. Daddy Raga! Nani Daisuke, how amazing, how glorious, how beautiful. But once again, we see the King of Curses, Ryomen Sukuna, taking all these hits for Big Raga, getting grazed by blue for Big Raga, adapting and preparing and doing all he can for Big Raga, letting that wheel spin upon spin upon spin upon spin upon spin. He then faced Hanks Red, barely activating domain amplification in time, and then shutting it off for Big Raga, then getting a backshot red for Big Raga, and then finally, when he gets a black flash to the chest, after Raga's adaptation has finished by the final spin, then Big Raga comes out. Oh, look at him in all his glorious, juicy, strapping girth. And then he does minimal damage to Satoru Gojo. By the way, this, unless I'm mistaken, outside of the spatial slash, is the only damage that Maharaga does to Gojo. That's it. Let's just discount all the numerous endless slashes that Sukuna put on Gojo. This one cut, and then another cut later. That's all the damage that Gojo takes from Big Raga. And by the way, Big Raga has appeared to be an active, permanent part of the battle on chapter 232, when there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 chapters left. So Maharaga has come out to be an active part of the battle in the last third of it. Is that a carry? Someone who comes out in the last third to do not even all the work? Because guess what else happens? Now that Raga is adapted and Gojo's output's in the trash, now he can't do anything. But look at Raga. He gets two-pieced, no drink, no bev. He gets hit twice by regular blue punches, which he's already mostly adapted to. And look what Big Kuna has to do. Come burst out of the shadows to still save his father. Because he senses that Gojo's going for a red. It's like, hold on, let me activate Rapid Escape to protect you, Daddy Raga. But this is the Shikigami that was carrying him, right? This is the technique that was carrying... Oh. Yeah. Definitely carrying Big Kuna. Not like Big Kuna had to, come out and save Big Raga, fight alongside Big Raga, protect Big Raga, add support to Big Raga. Look at Big Raga coming down from the heavens, slamming on Gojo, but doing absolutely no damage. You know who does do damage to Gojo in this interaction once the Infinity's down? Sukuna. Admittedly by using the 10 shadows. He does, in fact, use Mini Elephant, Mini Fant, the most powerful attack in the series. But he could have easily done the same thing with a slash if he really wanted to. What stops Sukuna from setting a dismantle? The active use of the 10 shadows, I know that. But still, I am messing around. I know Gojo Sukuna literally can't use Shrine and the 10 shadows at the same time. Can't use 2 curse techniques at the same time. It seems to be like a universal rule. Unless you have domain expansion and your technique is gifted to your domain, then you can technically cheat and use 2 at the same time. Like, Yuta is another character who can use 2 curse techniques at the same time. But, like, Kenny has multiple, but he can only use 1 at a time. And Yuta has multiple, he can only use 1 at a time. And Sukuna has multiple, he can only use 1 at a time. So technically, Sukuna is nerfing himself by using Big Raga here, in terms of attacking Gojo. Though admittedly, Raga is needed to bypass Infinity through the transmutation of his own cursed energy. But still, look at Sukuna running around and then deciding that Big Raga isn't even enough and leaps to summon Ahito. Oh wow, crazy. Let's see how much next level damage Ahito does to Gojo. Oh, doesn't hit him. Doesn't hit him. Raga whiffs. They keep whiffing. Raga eats a red, something he's already been partially adapted to, and Gojo's output's low. Let's see how much the 10 shadows carry. So, look, Sukuna disappears for a little bit. He goes into the shadows to let Mama and Papa cook a little bit, right? So this has got to be the prime premier next level 10 shadows carry that everyone must be talking about. In the last 2 No, in the last 3 chapters of the fight, even though realistically, the fight's 13 chapters. 236 is an epilogue. It's not really a fight because Gojo's already in half and dead by it. But let's just say 14 chapters. In the last 2 of these 13 chapters, let's see how much the 10 shadows carry. Okay, Gojo fighting Raga and Ahito. They whiff. Ahito gets black flashed, further restoring Gojo's output and his reverse curse technique. Then gets grabbed, has his tail torn off. Very effective carrying. Raga sends rocks at Gojo. They do nothing. And then swings at Gojo, and he whiffs. And then, once again, Raga whiffs. And Ahito goes in for a punch, only to do absolutely nothing. And activate electricity, which does absolutely nothing. And then gets punched in the mouth. I guess technically this counts as carrying? Because Sukuna doesn't have to do anything? But they're not landing anything. They're not doing any damage. Here is where the carry argument could come in, maybe. Because after all this time, after Sukuna took the most burn of adaptation for Raga, Raga finally unlocks Spatial Slash. And then that allows Sukuna to then learn World Slash, Spatial Slash, and then end it. That's it. But who put Raga and the 10 Shadows technique in a scenario where they could fight a weakened output Gojo? And by fight, I mean keep whiffing on a low output Gojo. Oh, Big Kuna. Big Kuna did that. Put the 10 Shadows, Daddy Raga, on his back. Like a good son. Carrying his parents. And speaking of which, Ahito literally does not land a single hit and gets one shot by a max output blow. And who survives the Unlimited Hollow in the end? Is it Big Raga? No. It's Sukuna who survives it, and then is the one to actually land the World Slash that ends Satoru Gojo. Yo, Ryomen Sukuna did use the 10 Shadows technique as a template, but he carried it to the point where it could be a template, not the other way around. As the narrative, as Sukuna, as Gojo all lays out clearly, if Raga was brought out any sooner, it would have been one shot and worthless. So Sukuna didn't bring it out sooner. He waited until it produces the ultimate blueprint after backpacking it throughout the entire fight. It only learns the blueprint in 234. Which means for the rest of the chapters beforehand, the 12 chapters prior, this man is carrying the 10 Shadows. Carrying it to a point where it could actually be useful. Let's cease. Let's stop with the idea that Sukuna was carried by the 10 Shadows, because it's literally wrong. He put it on its back to his own detriment. So there we go. But, of course, that's what I think. What do I know? I'm just a yapper, man. Please tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave Sun Kuna, as in like Sun, S-O-N, Kuna. Or you could do Sun Kuna as in like S-U-N, because I guess he was the guiding sun for Maharaga to cast the long shadow in order to take down the strongest sorcerer of the modern day. Leave Sun Kuna in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notification bell so you not miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also I do have to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month. Things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with a Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members: Zera, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Redwolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, and Brandon Payne. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons: Zombie Hunter, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, King, Meliodas, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members: Autumn, Mornings, Lazo, and Fine. And I'd like to thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a big old thank you to our $10 patrons, Michael Williamson, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami. And I'd like to give a final gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.